Welcome to the Female VC Lab podcast. We have Phylicia here. Phylicia.
Phylicia, yes, thank you.
Phylicia, give me your name, your title, and the name of your fund.
I think everyone knows my name now. It's
We know that part.
Phylicia. It's Phylicia, or I go by Phil as well. Everybody calls me Phil. GP at Play Ventures. We're an early stage VC fund investing across gaming, consumer apps, gaming adjacent infrastructure, and all over the globe.
That's
30,
awesome.
40% of our portfolio in Europe, and another 15, 20% that's based here in the US, and the kind of the rest of the world as well.
So, what inspired you to become a venture capitalist or an investor?
I honestly didn't plan for it. I fell into it completely accidentally and serendipitously. I spent the first 8 years of my career working in growth, or as my partner likes to call it, crayons, arts and crafts, which is very nice. Very nice to know that your work is so valued. But yeah,
That's
he calls it
hilarious.
arts and crafts. But I spent 8 years of that in growth, working with startups, e-commerce startups, a health tech startup was my last full-time growth role. Basically left that and had a burnout from working in a health tech startup. For some reason, that happens to all my ex-coworkers as well, who I'm still in touch with, and decided, you know what, I don't really think I want to do growth anymore. I thought I was going to do that for the rest of my life when I graduated, and surprise, you change and you decide you want to try something different. But I didn't know what I wanted to do. So I figured I'm not doing anything. I'm just going to give myself that grace period of a year because that seems like a very nice, good round number, and try different things and keep it simple. The only rule was, will you learn something? Yes or no. If it's yes, just go for it. Jump into
I
it with
like
both
that.
feet. And then what's the worst that can happen? I'll learn something new. It's not kind of what I want to do anyway.
There you
So
go.
yeah, there I go. I consulted for a games company, a game startup. I ended up leading product for a voice technology startup. We unfortunately did not find product market fit, but it was a fantastic experience. And
That
I had
happens.
known that happens. I think I hear it quite a lot,
Yes,
actually.
it does happen. You have to really be thoughtful as a founder about that product market fit. Like, who are the real customers and what is
Exactly.
the real problem you're
Exactly.
solving?
Yeah. And I ended up reconnecting with Henrik, who's one of the founding partners at Play Ventures back in 2018 when him and Hari, our other founding partner, were looking at starting the fund. We
Hmm.
started talking. They were looking for somebody to join as an analyst. And I, again, never thought I would do VC. It's not even something that was on my radar to do. But I figured I'll learn something new. And if I hate it, I'll just leave. No harm, no foul. And that was seven
Well,
years ago. So that is how I fell into VC completely
the accidental
accidentally.
VC, how most of us fell
Yeah.
into this. Everyone's taking a different route, and that's what makes it
Yeah,
interesting.
which I think is great. And I think that I actually think it's great to not want to be a VC in a way, because I think you have life experiences and you try startups and you fail, and all of those things actually end up giving you a richer history, context, background to appreciate some of the deals and the opportunities you're looking at. And I think it makes you a better VC when you don't want to be a VC.
Yeah, I agree. So you talked a little bit about your thesis, but what is the motivation behind your thesis?
So we started as a gaming focused fund. Our founding partners, Henrik and Hari, were gaming entrepreneurs, have been in it for a long time. And so that was obviously naturally where we saw an opportunity for an early stage gaming focused VC fund. There were not a lot of them when Play first started out in 2018 and 2019. And over the years, I think we've just, I guess we've disrupted ourselves. We've
That's
thought
awesome.
about it, we've looked at about it, and gaming is great, and we love gaming, and we'll always invest in games, and we still do. But the truth is, gaming is also an extremely mature market now,
Hmm.
especially free to play gaming. It emerged with the App Store and the Play Store, and that's now 15, 20 years old. If you think about it, kind
Yeah,
of
that's
scary to think about
whew.
it.
Actually, it's older
Yeah,
than that.
yeah,
20 years
probably,
old
yeah,
plus.
exactly. Yeah, free to play mobile
2004,
emerged
5,
after. Yeah.
first
So
app
so
stores.
it's been a while. It's been a while, and it's a mature market. And we've always been, I guess, looking at, hey, what does gaming really look like if we don't use a really narrow view of what play is?
That's a good
Don't don't
question.
don't think a genre is a game. Like some people used to say that one of our first investments was a company that made a game called Reworks, a Redecor. And it was essentially a competitive interior decorating game, which to some people was not a real game because it didn't look like a
Well,
shooter or
It was a game. It was
It
like
was
a
a game.
gamified, or
Sure,
I'm
it's
not
a
sure how
game
they
to the
did it, but
people.
it's like a casual game, right? For lack of a better
Exactly. And
word.
it's a game to the players who love it.
Yes.
They get entertainment out of it. And so if we take that part of our DNA and kind of expand into it, we saw an opportunity also in consumer space, which has many different verticals. But we saw that, hey, there's a lot of know-how from free-to-play gaming that founders have perfected over 20 odd years.
Many.
And
Mm-hmm.
it's not just about game design mechanics, but it's everything is connected from user
Yes.
acquisition to onboarding to yes, game
The
design to
monetization, because
monetization. Yeah.
that's a huge one. If you have a free to play game, like how do you really make money out of that?
Yeah, and it is a science and an art as well because you don't
Yes,
just slap a store on a game and say, voila, we're going to monetize. You have to actually
correct.
design
You
an
have to have
in-app
some thinking.
economy.
Yeah, you have to think about
Yeah,
what are you really doing there.
yeah. And why I think it's important or interesting to expand into these consumer spaces is because, look, we play games, we have a motivation. Typically, it's fun and entertainment. It could also be social. And
That's true.
sometimes what we look for in consumer apps is also an additional motivation. There's a utility to it.
Yeah.
For example, I invested in a company that makes an app called Bible Chat, which is a digital church, essentially, if you think about it. And the need there that we are serving people is people want to connect to their spirituality or they want to rediscover their faith. They want
Yes.
to connect to other people as well who share their faith and is maybe in a similar stage to them. And so that's a really powerful motivation for people to get started. And why people keep going at it was because they find a community. It's
Yes.
social. They feel good about, hey, when I go in and I do my daily Bible reading or my daily plan, I get a little bit of feedback loop. I see my little streak score go up. That feels good to me. And that helps me in my overall goal of creating this as a daily habit. We see a lot of kind of opportunities in consumer spaces to take a lot of these learnings that gaming founders have been using and operating, and now they get to apply it in a whole different space. And we think that's really exciting and big opportunities as well.
That's pretty cool. All right. What are you currently reading or learning or listening to these days?
I'm currently reading. I invested in a company called Bible Chat. And so it's really apt that I'm reading a book called, I think it's basically about the 2000 years of papal scandals. It's called The
Oh,
Popes. Yeah, so it's a condensed, kind of cheeky look at 2000 years of papal history, 280 popes. I guess they said the
huh.
Vatican is the
That's interesting.
longest running monarchy. I like to think it's like the world's longest running private company where
I
you've
was
got
going to say
2000-year
it's really
retention
a
cohorts.
business, right? So,
It's
with different
fascinating.
presidents every so often, right?
That's
One
true.
goes away, and then another one pops in, and then they all
And
have different
sometimes they had
philosophies.
exactly, and sometimes there was disputes over who was the real pope, and they'd have a pope and an anti-pope, and so I'm
Oh
having a
wow,
lot of fun reading that,
that's
and
interesting.
I just think history has an incredible lesson for us, and history and politics. So much of it is cyclical and responsive to
Yes.
what happened before, and we don't live in a bubble.
No,
Things in
not
politics
anymore.
in the real world, no, not anymore. For better or for worse, I don't know.
No, I was discussing this with my friend about how when we were younger, it was like information was filtered. It really was more
Yeah,
filtered. But now with social media, everyone can post anything on the internet and anyone can put anything on YouTube or those types of platforms. Like information flows so quickly now, and you can
yeah,
find anything out that you want to know, or you can learn anything you want to know. And so that's the cool part of it. Clearly, there are pluses and minuses to that.
yeah.
That's the cool part of it. It can accelerate learning and knowledge if you really want to know.
Yeah, it is true. And it's also what we see now is if we talk about AI, it accelerates
Yes.
product development. We're seeing seed stage companies come to us with an MVP that they put together with
In
them
a
and a
weekend.
co-founder and a co-pilot
Yes.
and putting
And
it over the
Copilot or
weekend.
Cursor or whatever, Bolt.
Exactly. Yeah. And then you're like, this is great. It doesn't mean that it's ready for public consumption, but it does show, I guess, what we want to look for at an early stage startup, like
if they
hustle and grind and like passion about what you're building.
if they end up getting some product market fit, then they've done the
Great.
whole thing. You did it in a
Yeah.
weekend, and you went and got your 20 friends or 100 friends or whoever, like they're subscribed to your thing, And that's a big deal.
That is. And I think that's also great. And it's exciting to see people so passionate about what they want to build that they've just gone out and done it.
It's
And
awesome.
sometimes we'll meet other founders where they're like, we need to raise $5 million and 2 million. And we're like, okay, that's fine. But it's also,
For
it's a
what
great
though?
idea. Why haven't you started this? Like, why haven't you, what's stopping you from building it? You believe in it so much. And you're like, no, we need the money. And you're like, kind
No,
of
but
don't need
Joe,
a
but I
weekend.
just saw Joe over here, Janie, that
Yeah.
came with similar ideas. We'll say Joe and Janie came with very similar ideas, and they built it over the weekend.
Yeah,
So
exactly. So who am I gonna bet on? I think that's an interesting, I guess,
it's gonna,
phenomenon that we're seeing.
it's gonna start getting interesting, not only from the gaming side, because I was in a hackathon, so I did build a
Hmm.
game over the
Oh
weekend.
wow, great.
And yeah, because it made sense. I'm like, this is not what most people are going to build. They're going to not build a game. Game's not easy to
Yeah,
build. But the thing about it is, you still have to get the product market fit, right? You still have to get some people to use your game. Or if you
yeah.
built widget X, you still have to get people to use your widget X. I think
Hmm.
if they
Hmm.
figure that out, like game on. But I look at this, I don't know if you read, this is not an advertisement for them, but Startup Story or something like that. They have these people building these apps and on the weekend, and then they're like, "Oh, I'm making 10,000 a month from this app, 15,000 a month from this app," and I'm like, "Okay, so you figured something out." Right. So you can't, as a funder and investor, you can't knock that because they figured something out.
No,
And it's a
absolutely not.
serious
I have,
problem that they're solving for somebody.
yeah, look, I think it's great. I love it when I hear about a founder who's basically bootstrapped something and never took any
Yes.
cent of VC money. Because I think good for you. Great. You own your company, you're profitable. Is it making $1 billion a year? No, but you're
Well, no.
making good money and you're
Well,
in the driver's seat and you did it the way you want. So great for you.
and it's a start, right? If you want to go raise
Yeah,
money,
you could. Yeah.
it's an option if you want to, or you don't have
Yeah.
to.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
you have
Yeah.
just more choices in that way.
Yeah. And so I love like sometimes telling founders like if you don't need to take sometimes you don't need to take VC money. And maybe you just shouldn't take VC money as
Sometimes
well. Cause like,
you have to be very
yeah,
strategic about how you take VC money because, as we know, it's the most expensive money, the
yeah,
most
yeah,
expensive money,
yeah.
and but it's also the most non-risk averse money as well. So you have to think about it like, okay, yeah, you're paying a hefty fee, but we're not 100% risk averse, but our risk profiles are very different than like a bank or you go and get a
Yeah.
loan or other things like that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I guess the thing is no money, there's no money that's free money.
well,
And
there's
so
no free
VC money
money.
comes, yeah, VC money comes with its expectations. And
No,
if you don't want to cede control and you don't want to build your business and to that scale, that's also totally
and that's
okay.
fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's fine. That's fine. All right. Here's the bonus question. Everyone gets it. In
All
two
right.
years, how do you see venture capital or investing having changed or evolved?
I think that's $1 billion question. I think I was gonna say
Now you have
billion,
to put
but
on
I
your
think
futurist hat for 5 minutes.
I here's what I think VC is having its Kodak moment right now, and that's why we said we disrupt ourselves, and that's something that I constantly think about. We see we see mega multi-stage funds starting to diversify away from being what we
Straight
historically
BC.
thought of as yes,
Mm-hmm.
exactly.
Yeah, straight BC.
And that makes sense. And then we see just like the middle class, mid-sized VC funds being squeezed because you're like the worst
You're
support
in
world, right?
between.
Yeah,
You're in the
you're in
land in
between.
between, right? Like,
Yes. Yeah. And so for us, I think as a fund, we've always been really deliberate about I would say we want to be the world's smallest, biggest VC.
oh, I
Our
like
fund
that.
size, yeah, we started our first fund with 40 million. Our second fund was 135. Our third flagship fund, which we closed in 2023, is 142. We've kept it the same size, maybe adjusting for a little bit of inflation. But it's because like when we think about our fund size, we're thinking also about how do we return this money to our LPs?
Of course.
Where did the exits come from? Where does the distribution come from? And so we've kept it intentionally small. And I think that's something that we will continue to do, sizing it that way. I think when we think about play, we think about evolving. So from gaming, we've expanded into consumer. And I think that will continue to be our focus. I think for VC funds in general, like we're starting to see more innovation come in and it'll be interesting to see. Like we saw Robinhood yesterday I think they talked about launching a VC fund that's basically open to retail investors. I thought about that
Yes.
3 years ago. I thought it would come in the form of a DAO,
Yeah, did
but
I?
well,
Years ago, right? We thought that
yeah,
would
yeah.
be happening earlier.
And
I,
now,
I've seen a few funds like that where it's starting to open up to retail investors, right? Like
yeah, and I think
depending on what
that is
platforms
super
you get
interesting.
on and depending upon, I know they're trying to change some rules here, so depending on the changes in rules.
Yeah. Yeah. And that was something that I was thinking about when I thought DAOs. Wow, maybe that's the future. Because it's like there are all these investment opportunities
Yeah.
that are often closed to the average retail investor
Yeah.
and the average person. And we
Well, and
also know that when you
it's also decentralized crowdfunding, for lack of a better word, right?
yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And so I thought DAOs were the way. I think I'm super interested in how Robinhood's VC fund is going to go. And I think that we're seeing funds also come up with different types of instruments. They're not just doing VC funds, they do something
True.
like private credit, they do all these things. So
True.
everybody's evolving, and I think it's evolve or die. And so we'll see. I think there's musical chairs happening right now where some funds don't realize that the music has stopped. And some founders also don't realize that the music has stopped for many of these
Yes.
funds. And over time, those kind of news will inevitably come out and emerge. And yeah, I think we're going to see a fundamentally different VC landscape in 2 years.
Very good. So, how do
Awesome.
people contact you?
I'm on everything. So I'm on X. If you guys want to go there, I'm at PPPHYL. Very inventive user handle. I'm on LinkedIn. If you want to reach me on email, I'm at Phylicia@play.vc. I try to read everything. I try to get back to everyone. I try. That's what I'll say. So give me some time.
All good. So,